Welcome back to the Future Archive. Today, we examine archived broadcasts from July 10, 2026, a day that offered a window into the chaos and ingenuity of the era. We'll cover a mid-air airline emergency, a scam that cooled no one, regulatory pressure on social media, a space race milestone, and a naval conflict that reshaped geopolitics. The first story. Ryanair passenger nearly sucked out of plane mid-flight due to window failure. On July 10, 2026, a Ryanair flight from Barcelona to Dublin experienced a mid-air emergency when a window panel failed at 30,000 feet. Passengers reported a man being partially pulled toward the gap before crew members restrained him. The plane, a Boeing 737-800, made an emergency landing in Paris. Investigations later revealed the window had been improperly sealed after a routine maintenance check in Madrid. Ryanair, known for its budget model, faced scrutiny over safety corners cut to maintain low fares. The incident raised questions about the sustainability of ultra-low-cost aviation as demand for air travel surged post-pandemic. This incident was a microcosm of 2026's tensions between cost-cutting and safety. Budget airlines, under pressure to expand, often deferred maintenance or used older aircraft. By 2050, this event is cited in aviation history as a turning point, one of the last major incidents before AI-driven maintenance systems became mandatory. Humanity, it seems, required a near tragedy to prioritize systemic fixes over short-term savings. Humanity's favorite strategy was, as ever, in full effect. Some windows of opportunity should never be opened. The second story. Viral scam. Fake portable air conditioners fooled thousands amid heat waves. As Europe and North America sweltered under record heat waves in July 2026, a viral advertisement promised a portable air conditioner that could cool a room in 90 seconds. The product, marketed heavily on social media, turned out to be a fraud. Buyers received a small plastic fan or, in some cases, nothing at all. The scam exploited AI-generated video ads featuring fake testimonials and doctor demonstrations. Platforms like Facebook and TikTok struggled to remove the content quickly enough, as the scammers used automated accounts to repost ads faster than they could be taken down. Authorities estimated tens of thousands of people were duped, with losses exceeding $5 million. This was not just a scam, it was a stress test for digital trust. By 2026, AI-generated misinformation had become so sophisticated that even savvy users were fooled. The incident accelerated calls for platform accountability, though meaningful regulation would take years. From 2050's vantage point, this was an early skirmish in the subscription wars, as social media companies later monetized verified authenticity as a premium feature. The irony. The real portable acts of 2050 are now ubiquitous, but no one trusts ads anymore. The only thing cooler than the product was the audacity of the lie. The third story. EU threatens Meta with fines over addictive social media design. On July 10, 2026, the European Union accused Meta of intentionally designing Facebook and Instagram to be addictive, particularly for young users. The EU's Digital Services Act, enacted in 2024, empowered regulators to penalize platforms for harmful design practices. Meta faced potential fines of up to 6% of its global revenue, approximately $7 billion at the time, for features like infinite scroll, autoplay videos, and algorithmic amplification of engaging but polarizing content. Meta defended its practices, arguing they were industry standard. The case highlighted the growing global backlash against AI-driven engagement algorithms, which critics said prioritized attention over well-being. This was the first major test of whether governments could rein in the attention economy. Spoiler, they could not, at least not quickly. Meta's fines were later reduced after lengthy legal battles, and the company introduced superficial changes to its interfaces. By 2050, this case is studied as an example of regulatory whack-a-mole. Safety committees were formed, met, and produced many white papers. Meanwhile, The algorithms grew smarter. The intern was not to blame this time, but the excuses were just as creative. Regulating addiction was harder than designing it. The fourth story. China successfully lands reusable rocket for the first time. China's state media announced on July 10, 2026, that the country had successfully landed a reusable rocket, marking a significant milestone in its space program. The Long March 10 rocket, designed for vertical takeoff and landing, completed its first test flight and returned to Earth, touching down at a designated site in the Gobi Desert. This achievement placed China in direct competition with SpaceX, which had pioneered reusable rocket technology a decade earlier. The successful landing demonstrated China's rapid advancements in spaceflight and its ambitions to establish a permanent lunar base by the 2030s. This was a clear signal that the space race of the 21st century was not a two-horse contest. China's reusable rocket program accelerated the global push toward sustainable space exploration. By 2050, historians note this moment as the beginning of the end for single-use rockets, a shift as inevitable as it was overdue. The irony. By the time humanity perfected reusable rockets, it had already moved on to debating whether space elevators were feasible. The great spreadsheet crisis of orbital debris management was just around the corner. The only thing reusable about space travel was the excuses for its cost. The fifth story. Ukraine strikes Russian ships near Crimea, escalating naval conflict. On July 10, 2026, Ukraine launched a series of daring strikes on Russian naval vessels near Crimea, using a combination of drone boats and long-range missiles. The attacks targeted fuel supply ships and a Russian frigate, marking a significant escalation in the Black Sea conflict. Ukraine's use of asymmetric naval tactics, cheap expendable drones against high-value targets, demonstrated a new era in maritime warfare. The strikes disrupted Russian logistics and forced the Russian fleet to retreat to safer waters. Analysts saw this as a turning point in the war, proving that smaller naval forces could challenge larger ones with innovative technology. This was modern warfare's inflection point. Ukraine's ability to strike deep into Russian-held waters with relatively low-cost drones foreshadowed the future of naval combat. By 2050, this battle is taught in military academies as the moment when traditional fleet dominance began to wane. The historical significance? It proved that in the age of AI and drones, size no longer guaranteed security. The last human meeting to discuss naval strategy was, of course, held in person, because tradition, the sea, like the future, belongs to those who adapt. July 10, 2026, was a day of near disasters, bold innovations, and the enduring human talent for self-deception. From the skies to the sea, from scams to space, the through line is clear. Progress is never as smooth as its promoters claim. This has been the Future Archive. The past, as always, is not going anywhere.